So we're moving into a new moon tomorrow, and that will inform some of what we're doing today, but really what this practice is intended to offer is some energizing of kind of this core sense of self. The central channel in subtle body anatomy is essentially mapped onto the primitive tissue structure of our gross body as human beings. The first sort of shape and structure to emerge in embryonic development is what's affectionately called the food tube, your mouth to your anus. And it's this really sensitive, responsive, immune-oriented mucosal tissue that is a critical part of the nervous system. This tissue is, it's designed to be pulsatory, right? It's essential that it move and adapt. It's moving through vital nutrients, but it also works in two directions. So there is this down and through kind of action and the pulsing to move food and nutrients down along and then eliminate what is no longer needed. There's an energetic component to that as well, right? Being able to take in what is useful and what is nourishing and excrete what is no longer necessary. We do that on an energetic level as much as we do that on a physical level. Now, in the other direction, there's also moving from the deep gut and pelvic bowl, which is the root of our being, that sense of what we need to be stable, to be grounded, to be connected to our purpose and our pleasure, and how we communicate that to the rest of the world, from our most immediate circles to the world at large, self-expression. In other words, living in line with our purpose, talking your walk, walking your talk. So this morning, it is my intention that you close this practice and invite in as an intention with a sense of connecting to yourself at the most basic level, getting your needs met, to feel stable, to feel connected, and to experience pleasure, the desire to move forward and reach out and connect. So with that, if it's comfortable to do so, join your hands in prayer in front of your heart. And we'll sound Om in its component parts, Ah, U, as a way of activating and awakening the tissue of the central channel. So Ah connects us to the earth element. So if you can imagine this sound emerging from your pelvic bowl, your deep gut. U resonates through the chest and throat. And then is moving from the soft palate of the mouth up towards the crown of the head. I'll say this as we go along. We'll sound each syllable once and then move into a full recitation of Om. Beginning with Ah from the deep gut pelvis. Inhale. U at the heart and throat. And soft palate to crown of the head. Full round of Om. Feel free to gently sway from tail to head if that feels good. Gently sigh out your next exhale. And as you blink your eyes open, make your way onto hands and knees. A blanket might be helpful or comforting for some parts of this practice. Whatever props you have on hand, it's always nice to just keep them close. So join your hands to the floor, shoulders width distance apart, and slightly forward from the line of your shoulders top to bottom. And then knees directly down from your hip joints, tuck your toes under. With your inhale, soften your ribs toward the floor and gently extend your head and your tail towards the ceiling, cow pose. With your exhale, lift your ribs, your back ribs up toward the ceiling, curl your head and tail towards each other, cat. Inhale, soften through middle back, reach your tailbone and your head up to the ceiling. Exhale, push through your hands, spread your shoulder blades apart, and bring head and tail towards the belly button. Few rounds of this, starting to find that sweet spot in the middle of effort and sort of floppiness, not the technical yoga term, effort and ease, sthira sukha, but really in our movement practice, it tends to show up as sort of over effort and flaccidity or complacency. So find that sweet spot in the middle where you're neither engaging too much effort but not checking out either. And see if you can draw some attention to physical awareness of this central channel, linking the base of your throat to the base of your pelvis. Noticing if there may be any numb spots along the way. Surely there are. I'm going to add on to this a little bit. So if you're right at the top of your mat, you might want to scoot back several inches. I'm going to do that. And as you inhale into cow pose, remember your hands are slightly forward of your shoulders. Lift your chin and your chest. And then with your exhale, bend your elbows and see if you can touch your breastbone and your chin to the floor. With your exhale, press up to cow pose. Inhale. And exhale, child's pose. Keep your toes tucked under. Lift your belly button away from your thighs. Inhale, come forward, cow pose. Exhale, breastbone and chin to the floor. Inhale, cow pose. Garbage truck outside. Exhale, child's pose. Lift your navel away from your thighs. Inhale, forward, cow pose. Exhale, chest and chin to the mat. Maybe you come halfway down towards that. Inhale, press up. And exhale, child's pose. Keep lifting your belly button away from your thighs, almost pulling back into a really rounded spine. And now inhale, come forward. We're going to slide forward from here. Exhale, chest and chin come to the mat. Squeeze your elbows back. Inhale, pull your ribs forward till your belly and hips touch down. You're in a cobra. Exhale, rest your forehead on the floor. Now interlace your hands behind your head. Squeeze your elbows up toward the ceiling, shoulder blades to the spine. Keep your legs down, and instead of clenching your butt cheeks, press your pubic bone toward the floor and see if you can lift the sides of your waist off the mat. Inhale, your face up off the floor, squeeze elbows up, shoulder blades to spine. Exhale, try to lift your belly button away from the mat as you press your pubic bone down. Inhale, press your head into your hands. If you have neck injury or pain right now, hands to the mat outside your ribs for cobra. Exhale, stay lifted, press pubic bone down. 2 more breaths. Inhale, head up, chest forward. Exhale, press pubic bone down. Almost like from the pubic bone, you could push your chest forward even more. Keep your chest lifted, but bring your face parallel to the floor. Tuck your toes under. Lift your tail up a little bit. Press up to cow pose. Inhale. And exhale into down dog. Now keep your hands really firm on the mat, particularly between index finger and thumb. Look back at your feet and step them forward slightly and just start to pedal out the legs, bending one knee and then the other. Let that little bit of free movement and added sensation of stretch help guide you to a more stable resting place in down dog. Push the floor away from you with your hands. Slightly bend your knees and then push the floor away from you with your feet. Lift your quadriceps up. Press your hands and your feet slightly down and out like you were trying to rip your mat in half. Big inhale. Exhale, draw your front ribs down toward your hips. Release your neck. Let the weight of your head just fall toward the floor. And then walk your hands and your feet toward one another, toward the middle of your mat. Feet hips width distance. Bend your knees as much as you need to touch the floor. Release the weight of your head toward the floor, and any amount, push your feet again down and slightly out. So there's as much weight on the inner edges of your feet as the outer edges. Engage your quadriceps. Keep your head and shoulders heavy. Notice that dynamic opposition here of the legs, very, very active, the upper torso a little more passive. Feel for some softening from your tailbone to the base of your skull. And on your next inhale, bring your hands either onto blocks or up onto your shins and extend your chest forward, similar to cow pose. Draw your shoulders away from your ears. Reach your head away from your tail. Press your feet slightly down and out. We're going to stay in this pose for 5 breaths. So if it's a lot, if you feel strain in your back, bend your knees, rest elbows on thighs. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, strengthen. Legs strong, navel to spine, front ribs pull toward hips. Inhale, find your length. And exhale, find your strength. Hint, it doesn't come from your jaw and your teeth clenching together. Inhale. Just notice that tendency if the jaw wants to be clenched or remains in that pattern. Is there some place where you could ease up to free up space in the mouth, in the throat, in the jaw? And then everyone, bend your knees pretty deeply. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up to the ceiling, stand up. And exhale, put your arms down alongside your body. Now I'm going to turn to the side. You don't have to. I know my head's cut off right now, but stand with your feet together, touching. And then lift your arms up overhead. You can grab the back of your right tricep with your left hand. Grab the back of your right tricep with your left hand and then point your left toe off to the side. So you're standing really on your right leg, but your left big toe is still a bit of an anchor point. Take a long, slow, deep breath in, find your length. On exhale, start to tilt your torso to the left. Find strength by bringing your front ribs down toward your hips. And then lean your pelvis off to the right to bring a little more side stretch. Inhale, find your length all the way through that right arm. And exhale, find your strength. One more breath here. Inhale up. Release your arms, bring your feet together, take a breath. Feel for that physical line connecting throat to root. When we release the shapes, we want to have a sense of relief and release through the central channel. Inhale, arms up. This time grab the back of your left tricep with your right hand. Your left arm is straight up to the ceiling like an arrow. Point your right toes off to the side. So now you've got a gap between your feet. Inhale. Exhale, tilt to the right. Lean your pelvis off to the left. With your exhale, find strength, almost like you were trying to squeeze your feet towards one another and bring your front ribs towards the pelvis. Inhale wide into your stance. Exhale, hug in towards center, lean a little further to the right. One more breath. Good. Inhale up to center, release your arms, bring your feet back together for mountain pose, and breathe. Gaze forward towards the horizon, something simple, something pleasing. Okay. Staying in the middle of your mat, bring your feet together if they're not, squeezing inner ankles together, inner knees, inner thighs, and then slowly bend your knees like you were sitting back in a chair. Now reach your arms up alongside your head, palms face each other. Find some almost a roundness in the inner elbows and inner palms, like you were holding a basketball up above your head. Dip your butt a little closer to the floor, but then as you exhale, draw your belly button away from your thighs, almost rounding your low back. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze your inner thighs together as you simultaneously press your feet down and out. It's a lot of action in your legs. Inhale, find length. Exhale, pull your navel back. Lengthen through arms and neck. See if you can find some of this roundness and spaciousness through the central channel from throat to pelvis. Last breath. And then circle your arms around behind your back, interlace your fingers. Keep elbows bent or straighten them. Exhale, round your spine until your face comes toward your knees. Drop your butt a little lower. Inhale here, long, strong arms. Exhale, pull your belly button away from your thighs. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift your chest, straighten your legs. Exhale, release your arms, mountain pose. Whew. Have a seat on your butt in the middle of your mat. Bring your feet to the floor, knees bent. Scoop beneath your kneecaps with your hands. Rock back onto your tail. Push the floor with your tailbone and your butt bones and lift your feet, your shins parallel to the ground. Roll your shoulders back. Pull your belly button away from your thighs. You can stay here. You can stay here with straight arms. It's actually harder for me to keep my knees bent. It's also really hard to talk while you do ab work. So I'm going to straighten my legs and reach the arms. Inhale here, find length. Exhale, pull your navel back away from your thighs. It's too hard to talk, so you keep doing this. We're going to go down into half boat, which I don't know why it's called half boat. It looks like an actual boat, and it's much harder. So keep your legs and your upper torso off the floor, but extend your legs forward and come down. Hands can be behind your head or reach forward. Inhale, find length. Exhale, bring your front ribs towards your hip joints. See if you can find some sense of spaciousness, particularly from the root of your throat down to your pelvis. Now lay flat on your back. I'm not without mercy. Lay on your back, and I apologize if the sound gets a little weird as I'm down here, maybe more echo. Bring your feet flat to the ground and hug your right knee into your chest. You have the option of keeping your left leg bent or flattening your left leg all the way down onto the floor. If that creates strain in your lower back or your breathing, keep your left knee bent. If you sense like spaciousness in the front of your left thigh, keep it. And then straighten your right leg any amount toward the ceiling and hold on to your thigh with your hands. This is a great time to use a strap around your right foot if you have one. Inhale here. And as you exhale, imagine you could actually plug your right thigh bone into its socket. Draw down with the leg rather than towards your torso. keep this distance between your navel and your thigh, and then create more space between your right hip joint and your right armpit by drawing your outer right hip down towards the floor and towards your left foot. Another way of feeling it is to move your right sits bone, your butt bone, toward the left. You might notice your right foot wants to turn out a little bit. That's okay. And now draw your right knee into your chest. Draw your left knee into your chest. Rock gently side to side. And we'll go to the other side. Please start with your right knee bent and hold on strongly to your left shin. Feel into the possibility of straightening your right leg. What shows up? Is it useful for finding more space and continuity in your central channel? Interlace your hands around the back of your left thigh and move towards something like straight in your left leg. Inhale, find length. Exhale, find strength in your low abdomen, belly away from thigh. Bring your outer left hip towards your inner right thigh. Again, you may notice that creates rotation in the left leg. That's all right as long as it's not dramatic and as long as you can still breathe. Pay some attention to your breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Remember, you're drawing your left thigh down towards the earth, plugging it in rather than pulling your leg towards your face. Please bend your left knee. Draw your right knee to your chest. Easy, simple rock side to side. Now figure 4. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Bring your left thigh into your chest. Just 3 breaths here. Inhale, nice and full. Exhale, hug your left thigh towards your chest and feel for the possibility of your shin bone, your right shin bone, coming parallel to your chest. So you want to see if you can keep your right ankle and knee in one parallel line. I like the feeling of rounding my low back here. So if that feels good, try to scoop out your low belly a little bit as you bring your legs closer to your torso. And then release, change sides. Left ankle to right knee, make sure your left foot is flexed. Inhale. Exhale, draw in to create or maintain a parallel shin. Shin parallel to your chest, or maybe you reference toward the ceiling. Scoop out your low belly if the rounded low back feels good. And release. Knees to chest. Rock and roll a couple of times. Either all the way to plank or to sitting, and then a little more slowly. You go hands and knees. And then we're in plank. Here's the option for you to do a few push-ups. I'm going to say 3 max for now. We've got more reps coming. So hold plank or move through push-ups with knees up or down. Now, lower knees. Melt your pelvis forward, bend your elbows a little, and roll your chest up to the ceiling, a modified up dog. Exhale, down dog. See that your feet are hips width distance apart here. And then step your right foot behind your right wrist, toes to wrist. Pivot your left heel in so your foot is flat. Inhale up, warrior 1. Find that softness in your inner elbows and palms, like you're holding a basketball or a beach ball up above your head. And as you inhale, find length in your back leg, length in your spine. Exhale, find strength. A little bit of knitting in with ribs and hips. And bring your right butt bone toward your left. Right butt bone toward your left. Inhale, length. Exhale, strength. Push the floor with your feet. Last breath. Inhale, hands down. Exhale to plank. Your choice, hold plank or push-ups, knees down or up. And everyone, knees down. Melt pelvis forward, bend your elbows a little, and lift your chest to the ceiling. Exhale, down dog. See that your feet are hips distance apart. Inhale, step your left foot behind your left wrist. Pivot your right heel in so the foot is flat. Inhale, warrior one. Soft inner space with a firm outer line. So long arms, but soften your elbow pits, soften your palms. Bring your outer left hip in toward your right inner thigh. Inhale, find your length, make space in the base of your throat, maybe open your mouth a little. Exhale, strengthen your legs. Inhale, find your length. Exhale, strengthen. Keep bringing outer left hip in. Gently glide your pelvis forward on this next exhale. Inhale, hands to the mat. Exhale, plank. Hold plank or move through push-ups. Knees down for me this round. Well, everyone come to half plank, knees down. Melt your pelvis forward. Gently bend your elbows as you lift your chest to the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, down dog. Again, walk your feet and your hands to the middle of your mat. Feet hips width distance, knees bent enough to touch the floor. Inhale, hands to shins. Lengthen your spine. Stay in this half forward fold as you exhale. Push your legs down and out, get longer. Inhale a little longer. And exhale, release all the way down. Inhale to standing. Sweep your arms out and up. And exhale, mountain pose. Turn to face the long edge of your mat. Bring your feet together. Inhale, fingertips touch in front of your chest. Exhale, hop open for a wide stance. Look at your feet. Turn your left heel out a little further and then rotate your right toes open 90 degrees. Triangle pose. Inhale here. Softness to your knees. Tilt your pelvis over on its side till your right hand comes to your shin bone. A block if you have it outside your shin. Inhale, get long in your legs, in your spine, in your arms. Exhale, strong. Front ribs toward hips and revolve your chest to the ceiling. Keep a little softness in the backs of your knees to allow some space in your pelvis. Then feel that translate all the way up to the base of your throat. It may facilitate a rotation of your neck. If that just doesn't feel good, look down. One more full breath. See if you can get wider in your shape. A little more twist as you exhale. And then inhale to standing. Relax your arms, turn your feet to the other side. Your right heel should be a little wider than your right pinky toe. Left toes point to the short edge of your mat. Slightly bend your knees so that the movement happens in your pelvis. Tilt for triangle pose. Arms wide. Inhale, find your length. Exhale, strength. Engage your quads. Draw front ribs to hips, revolve your chest skyward. Sense the length on the sides of your waist. Make a little more space between your armpits and your hip joints for these last two breaths. Turn your legs on to support the turn of your neck. If that's not enough, look down. And then inhale, come up. Exhale, relax your arms. Turn your toes forward and hop or step your feet together. Here's where you might want a blanket. Come down onto your knees. I'm going to use my blanket. And you'll step your right foot out to the side. Slightly angle your toes out. We're coming into gate pose, Parigasana. Slide your right hand down your shin. Lift your left arm up alongside your head. Remember our crescent pose from the beginning. Almost squeeze your legs towards each other. You're standing on your left shin, right foot gently hugs in, and then lean to your right. Right hand creates a little scaffolding here. Lengthen your left side with your left arm. Now as you breathe in, really indulge in that length with the left side. On exhale, strengthen the hug between your legs and make sure your ribs are tilting slightly toward your hips. Last breath. Inhale, come up. Knees together and take a seat on